Ada Angels.
Welcome to the first episode of Ada Angels. Since it's our very first episode, it's just going to be Alex and I kind of talking with you guys and explaining more about our backgrounds and like talking to each other about like where we're from and how we got to the space. And so, with that said, let's get into it. All right. So, Alex, I love your accent. It's like so cute and unique. And I have a special talent for picking out accents, but yours gave me a little bit of a challenge. So where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Poland, in a small town. When I was 3 years old, we moved to Italy and we lived there for a while. My mom worked in Italy for over 20 years. So I know my accent is like, I do sound like Borat, I know. And everyone is laughing from my accent. But, like, I don't mind really. That means you know more than one language, I think, when
Mhm.
you've got an accent, so it's cool. Yeah, I grew up with three older brothers. Yeah.
That's really cool. So do you speak more than one language? Obviously Polish, but like
Well,
others?
I speak Polish and English. Throughout my childhood, I've learned German, so I speak German a little bit, and I can speak Italian, but not really that fluent. So yeah. What
That's
about
so
you?
cool. I can speak only two. I just speak English and Korean.
Yeah,
um,
that's Korean must be really hard language, I guess.
So I've heard, and with the rankings of difficulty to learn, from English to any other language, I think Korean is ranked like number 3 most difficult to learn from English to a foreign language. Um, and mainly it's just because of its structure. If you translate Korean, it's literally like backwards from English. So you kind of talk like Yoda when you translate from English to Korean.
Mm,
So it's
interesting.
interesting. It's much easier to translate English to Japanese because the structure is parallel, but in Korean it's like inversed. So
That's You've told me you live in Korea, but where did you grow up and what leads you to the place you are now?
I lived so many places when I was growing up. So my dad was U.S. Air Force, so he met my mom when he was stationed here, and so I was born here. But then I traveled all over with him when he was moving from station to station, and then when I was about 12, we moved back to Korea because my dad retired, and we came here. And I've been here since then. I only went back to the America for university and then we came back here. But I've always been in an international school, so I didn't go to a Korean school or anything like that. So people always ask me like, "Oh, your English is perfect," and I was like, "Well, yeah, because I grew up in America and also Korea, but I went to international schools and I went to American university." So,
That's so cool. That's
so,
amazing.
um, so when you were growing up, where did you mainly grow up? Did you say?
In Poland.
In Poland. So what were
Mhm.
your main interests or things that you liked to do while you were growing up?
So in Poland, my father at one point worked in the zoo. And I've spent some of my childhood helping him out to look after monkeys. I know, sounds funny. Wolves, and other animals.
Uh-huh.
And I always loved animals. I would like to run a sanctuary one day. I also love horses.
Mhm.
And even though we couldn't afford any horse riding lessons, I would go to the fields and watch them galloping and cantering.
Mhm.
Um, I always really liked reading books. I would imagine myself traveling around the world
Mhm.
and being the main character. So yeah, I think that is what interests me. What about you? What hobbies do you have? And did you had any hobbies when you were growing up?
Um, so I was very introverted child. Like I didn't really do a lot of things with other people. So like group activities and stuff were not really for me.
Mhm.
But so I did a lot of like art and computer games and those type of things, just very solo. I think my parents had me evaluated because I was very alone. I didn't want to socialize with anybody. Um, but yeah, I didn't have much activities or close friends because of how often we moved. And so I think that's another reason why I kind of like focused more inward and like just did things for myself and not relying on like outside sources to entertain me. Does that make sense? Um,
Yes, I bet it was really hard for you making like friends, you know, when you had to, when you knew you had to move to other place.
Yeah, so from a young age, it's really strange where you go to a new place, but you have in the back of your mind you're only going to be there for 2 years. So it kind of like makes you cautiously decide where you're going to like bond, because you're just going to be heartbroken in a couple of years. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and when I was younger, I didn't really understand that, but as I was growing older, maybe like 8, 9 years old, I really was like distancing myself from everything. So it was a little bit lonely, but like I said, I developed a lot of mechanisms for just being okay by myself. So
yeah.
that's okay. Um, I was going to ask you something else, but I forgot. Mm. Oh, it was about the horses. So I saw a really pretty picture of you on a horse on your Twitter. Like where was that picture? It was like you and it's in like a sandy background. And like it just reminded me when you were talking about the horses.
Yeah, so because I couldn't really afford horse riding lessons when I was young, when I was a teenager, I've kind of promised myself that one day, when I can afford it, I will go and get horse riding lessons.
Mhm,
So now I am actually, getting these lessons, and no, it's awesome because you kind of like reaching your childhood goals. And it's just like a local stable in here, like near Cambridge.
mhm. That's cool. That's really cool. So, we're both business owners. Like I would consider myself more of like an entrepreneur. I don't, I, you're the owner of your business, right? So you're also an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running few businesses,
Mhm.
and I would consider myself as an entrepreneur.
That's really cool.
I'm successfully running a beauty salon, which is really hard work. Like it seems maybe it isn't, but it really is.
Mhm.
An ideal sourcing company. So I'm finding real estate deals for the investors.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm also investing in traditional markets. Sometimes I'm working in my salon, recreating eyebrows for clients that have lost them due to aging, chemotherapy, or
Mhm.
alopecia. So yeah, it's quite busy for me, but I know you're busy too. So tell me about your day job.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, so many things. All right. So my main one is I help teach nutrition to my clients. And so mainly they come to me because they've seen like my weight loss story, but like there's much more to my story than what they're after. But they just see that, my husband and I have lost a lot of weight and they want to lose weight too. So I teach them how to do that. Um, but mainly I teach them through nutrition and then I program like a exercise routine for them or some sort of physical activity based on their health requirements. Um, but it's a very structured program, but it requires a lot of, I would say like, I don't want to say like coaching, but like I check in with them nearly every day. We have like meetings once a week to
yeah.
check on their progress and make sure that everything's going okay. So it's very involved. It's very personal. So you develop like this trust between you and them. And then it's just so rewarding, like when they reach their goals. It's amazing from them to go to full skeptical, thinking that this program is never going to work, other programs don't work, why would your program work? And then they're like so happy when they get to their goal. And then what I really also like is that I continue working with them even after they've reached their goal, because their biggest fear is like rebounding, like regaining the weight
Yeah.
or going back to old habits. But I keep on top of them so that they keep doing the good things, and they keep where they want to be. So that's
Mhm.
one of
Yeah.
my businesses. The other one is a little bit less involved. I do an Amazon FBA. So I like research what I want to put on Amazon, and then I source them from different sources like in China or Korea. And then I send them with all of the proper labels and things like that to Amazon, and then I sell them. It doesn't require a lot of marketing on my part. The Amazon has their own marketing built in that you just kind of like subscribe to and do. But it's busy in the beginning. So,
Mhm.
and then of course this stake pool. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
cool. Yeah.
so much more than what I thought it was going to be. Um,
Mhm.
so, how did you get started with the stake pool? I mean, it's kind of like for me, it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew that with Shelly, and for people that don't know what Shelly is, it was a new development era for Cardano and a milestone that everyone was waiting for, I
Mhm.
guess. So I knew with Shelly, people will be able to earn passive income by delegating, and they can support the network, by running a stake pool. I've read that it's more complicated to run a stake pool rather than just delegate. Uh, so I've seen it as a challenge, I guess. And I thought, how cool would this be? Just to like put your own stamp on the blockchain. So
Mhm.
one day I've decided that I can totally do it. And I've rang my IT friend from Poland, and he said, it's a crazy idea, and like near to impossible. And for me, with no IT background, it will be really hard. So
Mhm.
I thought, now I've just got to do it. Like, I have to do it now because he's telling me I can't. So now I have to, kind of thing. So then I've watched Kaizen's video on how to build a computer. I've ordered all the parts, put them all together, and I started learning. And it was really hard. There was a point I've cried from frustration because I didn't knew how to fix an error.
Mhm.
But to be honest, I didn't even knew how to open the computer terminal at that point, and I've learned so much since. So I'm not gonna lie, it was like super hard, but with a proper guidance and community help, I did it. And like I had an urge to learn and prove to myself that I can do it, and I wanted to help others to get out of the comfort zones. And
Mhm.
if someone is telling you you're not capable of doing something, they wrong. You can learn everything, and I think every master was once a beginner. But yeah, that's the stake pool operator story. What about you? How did you become a stake pool operator?
Yeah, I think that is so amazing. I mean, my background is a little bit IT because I went to school for biomedical engineering, but not anything near like computer science related. So I didn't really know how to code or anything like that. Luckily, I don't really have to. There's guides and stuff that help me do that.
Yeah.
And I had several community members help me set up what I didn't understand. So I was able to ask questions, and they helped a lot. um, I didn't have any idea about crypto space before July. Like I didn't know anything about it. My husband dealt with that kind of stuff. He had our portfolios, and I gave him input on what I thought, how much I could give him to like invest. But um, yeah, like I didn't have any intention of going into it anymore. But
Mhm.
he and his friend were talking about doing something with Cardano, and I was supportive of them. Like they could go and do it and I would just be supportive. And then one day they're just like, you know what? I think that you should do it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You know, and they're just like, yeah, because you can do this. You have time to sit. I'm like, I have time. Do what? You know, so there's like, yeah, you can do it. I'm like, okay. So I tried and it took a few weeks for me to kind of like go through all of the material and kind of understand what I was looking at and get it set up. And then I ran into like other issues like um I'm bare metal, so I know I had to do different things with my firewall and different things with the relays and I ended up like separating them out on different machines and so I was like, ah, okay, so now it's working because they were not talking to each other before and then they were talking to each other and it's great. And then I was like, okay, but now I still don't know if it's working because I don't have any incoming blocks or anything like that. And there's no way of me knowing. So I'm just sitting here waiting. Um, but yeah, so that was kind of crazy. That first month was crazy. And then
I bet.
uh,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, when other people are starting to get blocks and there's no way of me knowing if I did any of this correctly, it was about another month before I even got my first block, you know,
I know.
because I was just one of those unluckier ones that was just waiting and waiting, even though I had a decent amount of stake in my pool. Wasn't just happening. I was not lucky.
Yeah, but
Um,
look at you, how lucky you are now. Like you've minted so many blocks now. It's
I
great.
mean, like it's done pretty well. We've minted for 2 epochs, right? And it's done 6 out of 4 expected, so not bad, you know. But yeah, it's been a crazy adventure so far.
Yeah, yeah. I know like you haven't been in a space for that long, but do you remember the day you've discovered Cardano? Like you said that it was your husband,
Mhm.
but did he share the aspects of like the project with you and like do you remember the day? What was he thinking? Do you remember that?
So I remember being frustrated because
Yeah.
it wasn't actually like him who was like the idea. He was kind of like going along with our friend, and so he didn't have like his own ideas or his own even full understanding of it. So I was having just to go in and research for myself. And when I went to go to YouTube, of course, I came across that whiteboard video and several other videos that he's done other stake pool operators and their videos. There's just a lot of content out there that's really helpful too that I could just like absorb and understand like what this is supposed to be. And I went to the website as well to kind of like read all of the stuff that they're wanting to do. To be honest, it's really overwhelming sometimes because it's kind of
Yeah.
technical on their website, and so I had to read it a few times. But I am really kind of impressed with their vision. And so I was kind of moved by a certain amount of things with like the Atala Prism is coming out for identity management. If we had something like that a few years ago, our family would have been in a lot better state. Like my dad was a victim of identity theft. It really was hard for our family for a few years. So things like that, like identity management would be like wonderful. Um, and I see so many applications for it in the future for all different kinds of uses, you know. Um, so I think it's
Absolutely.
just awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely no. So many people they don't have a chance of economic identity. So
Yeah.
um, this would be amazing for so many people, life changing.
Yeah, I really agree. Like even like one of the more amazing things that's happened in Korea is that the coin icon has come up with their blockchain identity management program called my ID, I think is what's called. And the banks, the Korean banks have adopted it. And so I'm really excited to see like what they're going to be doing with it. Because before they really struggled with identity and security management with bank accounts, which is, you know, you would think Korea with being as technical advanced as they are, they would have better management. But that was one of their weak points, I always thought. But now they have this, and so I'm really excited to see how they're going to use it. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, I have another question for you. Because we are busy ladies, how do you manage your businesses and the stake pool?
oh, don't even ask me. Don't even start me with that question. Like I have no clue. There's just not enough time, to manage everything. And I just, I just think like the sleeping is pointless. Like, how about you? Like, do you know any remedies how to manage, the lack of time?
So I've talked to several people, and I do feel like time management is a weaker point in many people's, like, I don't know, they have to maybe learn it. It seems to be more natural for me, which I think is a blessing. But I have been able to kind of like allocate time for the different projects that I have and like
Mhm.
prioritize my time, but still give myself the time that I need to decompress. And, like I use the time that I go to the gym, I use the time that I go for walks and with my family. So
Mhm.
yeah, like those times are for me, and I need that for my own decompression. But then, like during the day, I will set time to do X, Y, and Z thing. And like upcoming, I have my master's program that I'm gonna have to set more time for as well. um, but yeah, it's important to just like set up time to manage the day. Does
Yeah,
that make sense? Yeah. So,
yeah, absolutely. Of course it does.
so I guess one of the things that I've been thinking about too, because I've been asked this a few times, whether it's on Twitter or from friends who learned that I've been doing this, is like if they want to set up a stake pool, like what do they have to do? What is required? And I always give them like the advice that I wish somebody would give in me. Like, is it really something that you want to do? Is it something that you have time to put into? Not, it's not just setting up the node. It's not just, setting it up and walking away. There's a lot more that goes into it. And just like make sure you have the time to commit to this project. And so that's the advice that I give people who that want to go on this venture. What advice would you give people who want to start a stake pool?
It is quite time consuming. I would say you need to be really patient and don't give up. So if you really want to run the stake pool, but you don't have the resources, we can actually share some links, to some guides that like I've been using. But I don't see the problem. I mean, we're all adults, and like if you really want something, like you can learn and you can find time, you can manage the time to like operate the stake pool.
Mhm,
So yeah, this is like my advice. And also I think they need to be really like careful, to like secure everything. So that's another advice, because like security is really important. And like I've read so many things about it
mhm,
before I've actually started. And obviously I had help from the community, but you do need to look out for yourself,
mhm,
especially if you have like maybe significant amount of pledge,
mhm,
um, because this is, you're playing with real money, so you're working hard for it, right?
mhm.
This is not gay, right? And
Right.
like we've heard stories, like I've seen stories that the pledge has been stolen. And
Mhm.
like this would be my advice, just to be careful. And make sure that you are following the and implementing the security measures.
Yeah. I would say that that's probably the most risky part of being the SPO is that you're basically broadcasting that you have this money, like, come
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
me, because it's available for everybody to see. So,
And I think I don't know. What do you think about it? Like, for me, there is one thing we're telling people: don't ever say how much crypto you have on the
right.
internet. But then on the other side, you can check, the
Yeah,
pledge that SPO have put into a
right,
pool,
right.
and this is quite scary, I think,
Mhm.
especially I know for sure that Ada will go to, the like higher price, and
Mhm.
it could be quite scary thought,
Yeah,
So maybe I don't know, somehow maybe in the future it will be possible to um, hide the amount of that been pledged.
yeah. I'm not sure because like part of the pledge is showing like how much you have in your pool as like your dedication to your project. And so
Mhm.
I think the intent is to have it be shown to people. But again, it
Yeah.
exposes us like
Oh,
just
yeah.
completely, so
Also, like I've met so many people. They don't really have um big pledge,
mhm,
but they ever so dedicated. Like they really know what they're doing. They've got the knowledge, and they are dedicated to the project and
mhm,
to support the network. So. Like, and sometimes you can see like the pools are really successful with small amount of pledge.
mhm.
So um, that's just my
Yeah, like
my
it really doesn't matter the pledge amount at this point
at this
in
point,
in
right?
the
Yeah.
game. Like it doesn't matter what the amount is, but yeah, it's what you can afford, right? So everybody's positions are different, but like you said, it matters about the person and their drive and their dedication to their pool.
Mhm.
So, um, so another thing I'm wondering about, like at this point in time with your pool and your project and your um, place in the community, what is it that you're most passionate about when it comes to Cardano or crypto?
So I think in general, I'm extremely passionate about like financial education and the mindset, and breaking down my own psychological barriers. I would like to spread can-do attitude and like um, you know show the people that there is an option, they can explore like this really revolutionary project. Like um, I think we are witnessing history in the making, and like it is how I see it. I see it as really good investment.
Mhm,
It is not a financial advice,
mhm,
but yeah, I see it as really good investment, and as a like revolutionary project that will change lives of many. So like so many people, they don't see that the bigger picture yet,
yeah,
but I truly believe that it will help many people, and it
yeah.
will change the world.
And I feel like that's what I want our goal with Ada Angels to be. I want us to kind of like um just talk to people like us and like really reach those people and explain to them like what crypto is or and how it can affect the world. It's not just, electrons and ones and zeros, it will
Yeah,
actually revolutionize the industry and be able to separate us from corruptions and things. And so it's really like you say, the start of a new generation of things. And it's so people have a hard time adopting new things. Change is hard, but like as long as we make it inviting and like accessible, then people will come, you know.
yeah, totally. Crypto community is like very inclusive, and crypto is for everyone.
Yes.
So I think if we can just show newbies and not technical people that this crypto world is not that scary, we will naturally draw more people, including more ladies. Even if it is only the investment that they're interested in, I would like everyone to have this opportunity to, you know, change their lives and
Mhm.
participate in something like extraordinary.
Yeah, totally. So I just want to say it was really great talking with you and getting to know you better. Like there are a lot of things that I had no idea about you, and like even though we're friends offline, like there's just some things that are
Sorry, I've killed the mosquito. I hate
mosquito.
mosquitoes.
But it's really great getting to know you. And so I look forward to more conversations like this. It was really awesome. So we have a few guests lined up for in the next few weeks, and so I hope that everyone is going to be excited to meet some new people, some people that you probably already know. But yeah, getting to know them in a different way is going to be really fun.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. And like, I just can't wait. This is just so exciting, you know?
Mhm.
Um, I've met so many lovely people, and who would have think like that they're gonna be this awesome community behind the project, and like we got to know each other, you know, now quite well.
Mhm.
um, and it's just like awesome. It's so great. So I am looking forward to new episodes and like more you know, interviews, even though it is quite scary, you know, like um, it's kind of like out of my comfort zone, but yeah, I love talking to new people and like meeting new people, and there's just so many interesting people in this community, and not only in this community, like in general, people are just so cool, and everyone has a story, you know.
Yeah.
um, and we would like them to just tell tell
Yeah,
us
just be open
stories.
and share your story. And like no one is gonna have stories like us. Like I have completely different story from you. And I
Yeah,
really I like you, I really love to hear everyone's stories and how unique
I
they
love
are.
to hear the
So,
story.
but yeah, so that is our first episode, everybody. Please like and subscribe to our channel. That will help us so much. And tune in on Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. All right, we'll see you later, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.